So, yes, we expect James Webb to make great discoveries. We expect that. But the first order of business is hardly ever, let's discover something new today. It's, here's something that we have limited understanding of, let's improve on that. And in so doing, we deepen our understanding of how things work in the universe. That doesn't always involve overturning a previous idea or discovering something that nobody ordered. All right? That will happen. We fully expect that to happen.
And liftoff. Decollage, liftoff from a tropical rainforest to the edge of time itself. James Webb begins a voyage back to the birth of the universe. Punching a hole through the clouds, 20 seconds into the flight, good pitch program reported.
The James Webb Space Telescope is a technological marvel that will allow us to learn a lot more about our cosmos and much more. The Next Generation Space Telescope arrived at L2 a little more than a month ago. It's had enough time to not just launch, but also proceed through several required phases such as alignment. This raises the question of what Webb has been up to since it entered orbit. Want to find out? Then stick with us till the very end. Welcome to SpaceX News, your one-stop destination for all the exciting news and latest information about SpaceX. If you're a space fan, then make sure to hit the subscribe button and turn on notifications so that whenever a new video is uploaded, you'll be notified. The James Webb Space Telescope is yet another step closer to becoming fully operational in a story that we've been watching with great interest for some time. Currently, the 18 gold-plated hexagon mirrors of this powerful infrared telescope, which is located beyond the moon at Lagrange Point, known as L2, are being aligned so that they all serve as a single mirror dish. This was the very first image NASA released, and it had 18 stars distributed across the screen. They stated that it was actually 18 images of the same star, each taken by one of those segment mirrors and used to visualize the misalignment of the mirrors as a visual aid. It was the following graphic that showed how each one of those 18 points of light was aligned and matched in a hexagon pattern to the mirror section that it represented. Now that the segment alignment and image stacking have been completed, the 18 points of light have been reduced to 1. A reminder that this is only the second and third phases of the mirror alignment out of a total of 7 phases, after moving what were 18 scattered dots of starlight into Webb's signature hexagonal formation. The picture of each mirror segment was refined by making slight modifications, and the alignment of Webb's secondary mirror, the small mirror that was held at the end of the tripod, was altered as part of the process. In order to ensure segment alignment, the focus dots reflected by each mirror were layered on top of each other, delivering photons of light from each slit as they passed through them. During the upcoming weeks, another update to the timeline for the NASA Space Launch System rocket, and with it, the Artemis 1 mission to lunar orbit, which was previously published. NASA currently aims to launch the SL rocket for the first time in mid-March, as part of a dress rehearsal for the space shuttle. It's slated to roll out at 6 p.m. Eastern Standard Time on March 17th, and even after it arrives at the pad, there will be a lengthy set of pre-flight drills to complete before the plane can take off. Following the rollout of the core stage, liquid hydrogen and liquid oxygen propellants will be injected into the stage, which will then be subjected to a practice countdown that will come to an end at 9 seconds and 34 seconds, just before the 4 RS-25 engines ignite during the actual launch. Essentially, this is the process of getting as close to launch as feasible in order to guarantee that everything is functioning properly. It will then roll back to the vehicle assembly building for the final launch preparations. It will include resolving any issues that were discovered during the dress rehearsal, charging batteries on the Orion spacecraft, and updating flight computer software on the SLS. The wet dress rehearsal will be followed by the final launch preparations. In addition, NASA anticipates these final preparations will take an additional month, and they do not intend to set a definite launch date until after the wet dress rehearsals are done. As an update to their website, they've provided an official response. NASA's commercial spaceflight subsidiary SpaceX has issued a statement reaffirming the company's commitment to being good citizens of outer space and to prioritizing sustainable satellite operations, stating, SpaceX is deeply committed to maintaining a safe orbital environment, protecting human spaceflight, and ensuring that the environment is kept sustainable for future missions to Earth orbit and beyond, among other objectives. Additionally, SpaceX took direct aim at NASA's claim that no satellite constellation could potentially be 100% secure. It's claimed that the satellite network's reliability has improved to greater than 99% with the deployment of more than 2,000 satellites, with only 1% of the satellites failing after their orbits were raised. There are a number of noteworthy points raised in the SpaceX update. They claim to have the capability to create up to 45 Starlink satellites every week and to have launched up to 240 of them in a single month, which they claim is an unprecedented rate of development for advanced space systems at the time of writing. They also discuss how the safety of the satellite is prioritized during the design process. They lessen the likelihood that small objects may cause harm to the satellite by employing a low-profile chassis and Whipple shields to protect the spacecraft's critical components. As previously stated, when a Starlink satellite reaches the end of its operational life, it's propulsively deorbited, and it does so by reserving enough propellant in the thrusters to deorbit from an operational altitude of less than 350 kilometers, which is also why SpaceX deploys Starlink at such low altitudes of less than 350 kilometers. In order to travel at these lower altitudes, SpaceX claims to have invested a large amount of time and money into building satellites, which included expenditures in advanced altitude and propulsion systems, among other things. It also stresses the importance of sharing the details of all Starlink sites with national governments and private satellite operators in a transparent and continual manner. The SpaceX company also provides extremely accurate future locations and velocity estimates for all of their satellites. Last but not least, SpaceX discusses their collision prevention technology. SpaceX claims that in order to achieve safe space operations in a scalable manner, the company has developed and equipped every satellite with an onboard autonomous collision avoidance system that ensures that it can maneuver to avoid potential collisions with other objects if there's a greater than 1 in 100,000 possibility of collision, which is 10 times lower than the industry standard of 1 in 10,000. When a maneuver for any conjunction is planned, the satellites will design avoidance maneuvers to avoid the conjunction. In order to avoid inadvertently increasing the risk of other spacecraft above the same level, the satellites will take precautions. As a result, each Starlink satellite is equipped with a massive solar array that dwarfs the size of the actual satellite chassis itself, allowing it to duck out of harm's way in an emergency situation. According to SpaceX, the satellite will perform a duck maneuver in which it will reorient its solar array to have the smallest possible surface area in the direction of the potential collision, similar to when you're walking through a crowded area and turn sideways to avoid running into other people, to avoid the collision. It's a brilliant idea. To summarize their update, in a virtual news conference held on Wednesday, NASA officials revealed that the James Webb Space Telescope's main mirror is fully aligned and performing even better than it had been designed to do. The 21.3-foot wide mirror, composed of 18 hexagonal segments, had to travel to space folded. Aligning it into the smooth reflecting surface was one of the main tasks that the Webb control team has had to tackle since the giant telescope's launch on December 25th. But now, difficulties have been left behind. The alignment process, which involved fine-tuning the positions and inclinations of the 18 segments with nanometer scale precision, has now been completed. And although the process is not yet complete, the $10 billion James Webb Space Telescope mission, the most complex and most expensive such observatory ever launched, is already producing images that take the scientists' breath away. Corporations stated at the end of the day that space sustainability is a technological problem that can be efficiently managed by comprehensive risk assessment, information exchange, and the proper deployment of technology and operational controls. According to Rocket Lab, Launch Complex 1B in New Zealand is the company's most recent addition to its launch facilities. In the past few years, the company has been working on expanding the number of launch sites for its Electron rocket. Finally, the company's second launch pad in New Zealand is complete and ready to launch twin Electron rockets at the same time. In a statement, Rocket Lab Vice President Sean DeMello claimed that with Pad B, the company will be able to launch more rockets. We've kept things as efficient as possible. System and layout are identical to Pad A, and it shares much of Pad E's infrastructure with the system as well. We've been able to more than double our operational capacity while working on a concrete surface that's no larger than a tennis court. I'm quite pleased with what the team has accomplished. One of those possibilities will begin on March 19th, when NASA's capstone spacecraft, the Cassini spacecraft, will be launched into orbit around the moon by Rocket Lab's Electron. Alright everyone, this brings us to the end of our video. If you liked the video, maybe try and hit that like button, and don't forget to subscribe and hit that notification bell to stay updated.